Call the meeting to order. Time I have is 7:04. First item on the agenda for this evening's Cecil Township Planning Commission meeting is the approval of minutes from the March 19th meeting.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes from March 19th.
I'll second.
We have a motion to approve and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
I abstain.
Abstain.
Since two of us were not present at the last meeting, that means we only needed 2 out of the 3 who were to approve, so motion carries, minutes are approved. All right, next item on the agenda is review of previous decisions. Jack, do you have anything of substance for us today?
I don't. Dan, do you have anything that? No, there was nothing on the agenda last time. Right.
Okay, thank you. And we'll move on to old business. First item under old business is application number 2026-0004, Fairfield Lot Garages Site Plan.
Good evening. My name is Nick Brenlove. I'm here on behalf of Fairfield South Point. We're looking for approval on a project at 96 Cecil Henderson Road. Our plan is to construct a structure containing 10 what we're calling loft garages. They're structures that will be leased to people with high-end or classic cars where we rent this space to them and they work on their vehicles in that area. The garages are 25 feet wide, 45 feet deep, and each contains a loft area. We have some renderings of similar structures for you to take a look at. With me tonight is our engineer, Darrell Throckmorton. We have, I think, met the requirements in the last review letter from Gateway, and he's here to answer any questions in that regard, and I'll be happy to field any questions regarding the development.
Thank you. Yeah, we have a couple letters from Gateway here, March 18th, May 8th, and most recently, May 21st.
We've been working with the developer. The initial letter had a substantial number of comments, and they tabled last month, or it might have been, I can't remember, maybe 2 months ago. So we've been working with them to address the comments. We're just down to a couple of very minor items related to stormwater at this time. The building is going to be constructed on a site that's pretty much prepared and graded already, and they're going to construct really a rectangular building. It's not super complicated. They have an underground stormwater system that's proposed to tie into a stormwater pipe that already exists on the property. I believe, Nick, this is going to be have a holding tank also, like the other.
That's correct. Yes.
Commercial establishment will have a holding tank, which is shown on the plan, and it appears. Is there going to be some fence around the site too? Are you going to fence it in too?
We intend to fence it. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. What kind of a fence is that being proposed? Any idea yet?
I think it would be a cyclone fence, but we really haven't designed that.
Okay. That's really all I have. I mean, they have provided the required lighting plan. There's erosion sedimentation control plan, so it's a full set of plans. And I would, my minor comments that still stand. There's just 2 of them on stormwater, which I think we can work out before the supervisors meeting, not a problem. And then there's some administrative items which are standard items. They've already given us a cost estimate for the bond. So I think we're in pretty good shape on this one. If the board has any comments.
Thank you. Any questions or comments?
Okay, this is gonna be one building, how many units or how many garages do you expect?
10.
10, okay. And will there be, electricity and sewage to each one of them, bathrooms included?
Yes,
And they'll only be used for classic car storage?
correct.
Okay. That's all.
Any other questions or comments? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve application 2026-0004 Fairfield Loft Garage's site plan contingent upon the Gateway engineer's comment letter being addressed that's dated May 21st, 2026.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion to approve in a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Come to the supervisors meeting the first Monday in June, 7 o'clock.
Be here. Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is new business. Item number 1, application 2026-0010, Salah Grace Christian Land Development.
Mr. Chairman, today we received a request to table this for tonight's meeting. I believe our engineer is going to be working with them a little bit more in depth.
Okay. We have a motion to table.
I'll make a motion to table application 2026-0010 Sailor Grace Christian Land Development application.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion to table and a second. All in favor? Aye.
I abstain.
Motion carries. Abstention noted. Next item on the agenda, new business number 2, application 2026-0012, Cool Valley Conditional Use.
I believe we have some representatives in the audience who can make a presentation.
Oh, good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the Planning Commission. So Cool Valley, it's been a long time coming, and we're here this evening to present for consideration the Cool Valley development. And I'm sure you guys all are aware.
Could you introduce yourself
Yeah,
first?
I
Thank you.
apologize. My name is John Haynes from TNR Properties. I should have started with that. And to continue on there, Cool Valley, as I'm sure you're aware, is a 215 acre mixed-use site. It's located on the east side of 79, right across the street from South Point. And hopefully we will provide all the information needed so that you can make a decision. Keith from GAI is our engineer, and he's going to be giving you a little presentation and giving you an outline on the submission that we made.
My name's Keith Vassis. I work for GAI Consultants. I'm a civil engineer, and I brought some different documents with me this evening on flash drive to explain the project. So I'd like to start with the one called the site plan, Yeah, do we do that over here?
Yeah,
Okay.
you would do that right there.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, I can do it. That's the vicinity. I think some people are familiar with the site plan here. It's not much different than what has been proposed in the past. There, Merganza Road, I don't know if you can see my cursor here. Yeah, we can see it on the screen. So Merganza Road is located right here, and Lewicki Road comes off of Merganza and comes into the development. So the development is going to include improvements on Merganza and the Lewicki intersection. Those improvements are shown here in the enlargement. So a traffic study's already been approved by PennDOT, and these improvements reflect what is required in the traffic study. Thank you, that makes it easier to see. When you come into Lewicki Road, there's going to be a roundabout, and then there's 9 pads. Pad A is here on the left-hand side, and they basically go around in a clockwise fashion: B, C, D, E, F, G's down here in the corner, H, and I. There's various stormwater ponds and bioretention ponds that are proposed for the facility. Some other things to note, changes since the last time people have seen the site plan. We now have a second access that comes off of Merganza Road. That access comes up into Pad E. It was designed in accordance with the local road ordinance. So the vertical and horizontal grades are all designed per the township ordinance. Other things to note here, there's a property line here. It runs along Maple Ridge. And if you're familiar with that area of the site, the property line is actually back into the trees a little bit. So it's not right along the townhomes, it's back into the trees. And what we did too is we provided an additional 50-foot buffer beyond the property line. So that goes deep into the trees, and that'll be no disturbance. No trees will be cut, no grading will be done. So we added that buffer to the plan. Let's see. That's a good overview of what is being proposed here. I mean, if you have questions at any point, you please ask. But I'm going to go on now to an additional exhibit I brought. That summarizes what's actually, it's a schematic design of what is proposed for the lot. So I'm going to bring that up now. So the development, like I said, it includes 9 pads. So there's the lot area, the pad area, and a schematic design of what could be proposed for the lot. So that's all listed here. All the lot sizes, they total the 215 acres, and then there's actually going to be 85 acres of pad space that's going to be available for development. And then the total square footage of the development is listed at the bottom. These are just preliminary proposed uses. And another thing I wanted to note back here on the site plan is we included here, there's a legend right here, we included the categories of uses. So we're proposing residential uses. Those are in the pink areas. It's a little hard to see there, but that's pad D and E. Those are proposed as residential in the number 2 class in the ordinance. And then these are the business use categories here that are shown in blue. I think that gives a good summary. John, do you have anything to add before we have questions? Okay.
Good. You have
I was
questions?
just going to ask Dan, is there anything
Yeah.
that you, as far as
Yeah.
the overview of the comment letter that was issued on May 15th?
Yes, so the process here because the project is in the IHBPD, Interstate Highway Plan Development Overlay District, which in fact the developer helped the township prepare a number of years ago. The first step in the process is the approval of the illustrative site plan. They've obviously put a lot of work into this plan because they're in the process of getting permits and other things necessary to really make the development happen. But in terms of the township's approval of this plan, this is sort of the master planning stage, and essentially what they've proposed in pink and blue are the two different categories that are proposed here tonight. The business land use category and the combination residential land use category. So the blue and the pink are really what you're providing a recommendation on tonight, because really what's going to happen is this is going to go to the Board of Supervisors. They're going to have to hold a public hearing related to this. It's conditional use, and they would take the approach and approve the same plan. From that point, if I assume if they have that, then these guys are going to probably move forward with a grading permit to start grading the land, and then there'll be some sort of a developer's agreement related to the road installation, and then individual pads as they're developed or site plans come in for that, they'll obviously come back to the Planning Commission. So it's no different than South Point 2. When South Point 2 was most recently developed, that was the process that happened. They have provided all of the information tonight as listed in my letter. In addition, Mr. Haynes provided some draft covenants related to the development, which I don't know if Jack got that to the planning board yet, but it's really for the solicitor to look at. The covenants, it's more of a legal document on how the development will happen, and the supervisors. So I think that's important. And I think the other essential part of this is there will be conditions established if the supervisors move forward and do approve the plan. And one of the things that neither John nor Keith talked about tonight was there's major highway improvements that are required for the development too. So in essence, there's a 2017 traffic impact study that was prepared, and those improvements were identified as improvements at Morganza and McMurray, Lewicki and Morganza, and then South Point Boulevard. So as I understand it from John, and he's been running, sort of helping the project move forward, Morganza and McMurray is about to happen or will be constructed in the near future. The developer will install Lewicki and Morganza once they obtain approval from PennDOT for those improvements. And then the County Redevelopment Authority is working on the South Point Boulevard and Morganza improvements. And those, that plan, I believe, is already in the PennDOT also. At least they've done the preliminary.
Been working with Larson Design,
Yeah.
the road design for South Point and Kansas, and Keith, because they're going to abut one another. So Keith has been working with Larson, making sure that we're all on the same page with respect to design. So the road will match.
Yeah, so I would think that once it gets to the board level, there would be some condition upon those traffic improvements having to be installed. And in fact, John's noted that PennDOT will only allow a certain amount of square footage to be built on the site until such time as all three improvements are built. So that's sort of the traffic in a very, very high level, lot going on there. So really, you know, I would say tonight is it's the Planning Commission's, whatever you guys think in terms of this illustrative site plan, that's really what you're providing the recommendation on. I think that's it, but their application is totally complete. I really don't have any comments other than I know they've been working with the adjacent Maple Ridge development to try to,
No, they haven't.
Oh, okay. Well, at least there's a change from what was submitted the last time. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to opine on it. You can offer your own comments. That's why we're here tonight.
Dan, any concern that the original traffic impact study was done almost 10 years ago. Any need for it to be looked at again? I'm not obviously an expert in those things, but it does seem aged now.
We did a, so we did do a study with a traffic count, and believe it or not, traffic has dropped over.
Yeah.
We did a traffic count instead of a study, and traffic has dropped. How much was it?
It was almost 25%, I believe.
Yeah, so actually traffic has decreased, and you know you can either say it's because South Point or because of COVID or what have you, but traffic has actually gone down. Should I repeat it? You want me? I'll say it into this. So we did a
Good.
traffic count, and traffic has actually gone down, and we submitted that count to PennDOT. And so, you know, in all actuality, we could have gone back and said we can do less improvements because the count was lower, but that would have implied starting over again, and that's
Sure. Yeah, I think it's important to just at least add that information to
sure.
that report, just so we have it for the record. Yeah.
How
Yeah.
currently was that traffic count done?
Months ago? Months ago?
Just a few months ago, yeah.
So this has been a long time coming. This has been before this commission numerous times and over many years, and through many iterations of this commission as well. So it's been interesting to see the evolution of the thought to the plan and as the plan evolves as well. I definitely recognize the secondary mean of access and egress. I know that was a pretty big sticking point last time that this was here, so I do see that. The intersection with Lewicki Road, Morganza and Lewicki, that's traffic light improvement, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and then you have the roundabout there. Are there going to be any? Is there going to be any traffic control at the new access or egress point planned?
The secondary access road, there's no traffic light required there.
Right, because it doesn't exist, so it wouldn't have been addressed in that study,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, it wasn't addressed in
Is
that
there going to
chart.
be any? I think one of the things we talked about in the past was having that secondary means of access or egress, but then also trying to find some way to limit the use of that secondary access and egress for residential use only, so that
Exactly right.
right.
So we neglected to mention that. So that will be a private road, and so it will be for residential only. So, you know, we haven't quite figured out how we're going to, you know, lock both sides down, but that will be a private road for residential only and emergency vehicles as well, of course.
Is that secondary access, is it going to be a full access left and right, in and out both ways, or is it only going to be like right-hand turn or only left-hand turn?
Yeah, it's going to be just 2 lanes down, and then the lanes on Morganza. There's not going to be other improvements.
It's not going to be limited to like only right-hand turns out of that.
Yeah,
Okay.
it'll be full access.
But it will be limited to the residential. All right, so that helps, because I know we did talk about that in the past, so that would help with the concerns that I was thinking about there. So I see your green lines. Can you?
Yeah, we just made those lines green because there was questions about where the sewer was planned.
Okay.
And the lines just disappeared within all the other lines, so we highlighted it.
Perfect. Yeah, because I'm over at the legend. I'm like, I need some help here because I see the other green line coming down to Maple Ridge there, and I was like, how's that?
Yeah, so there'll
Tying
be
in there.
sanitary sewer that goes to the Maple Ridge pump station, and then the other sanitary sewer is shown going to Morganza Road. And that's been the same on the plan, but nobody could find the lines when they looked at it, so we just made them green.
No, that helps, and thank you. Dan, you were saying PennDOT's already placed conditions or limits upon the ability to develop the property based off of how complete the improvements were, traffic improvements, correct?
That's my understanding.
So I would think that the township would want to mimic those conditions within their own conditions.
Very good. That's exactly what I would recommend. Yep.
So we should recommend that as well.
We did not bring any printouts.
Well, hey, excuse us, excuse me, we'll give you the opportunity to have comments and questions in a moment. Do any of the commission members have any other questions, comments, concerns? Any questions for Dan or the presenters? All right. Jack, how do you want to handle, yeah, I think that would be great. So at this time, we'll take questions and comments from the public.
We're going to ask that you state your name and address, and then ask your question, if that's all right. Who wants to be first?
Hi, I am Michelle Trebanik. I reside at 260 Maple Ridge Drive. Apologies for my voice at the moment. I'm a little Minnie Mousy. But I am also the president of the Maple Ridge HOA, and I have the vice president and the treasurer here with me as well this evening. To be crystal clear, we hate this. This has not been discussed with our HOA at all. Nothing has been, aside from a meeting 2.5 years ago, where a preliminary site plan was brought to us, and that was all. We have absolutely no idea about construction schedules. We don't know how things are going to tie into us. We have no idea how things are going to affect our utilities and whatnot. We have now an entrance practically on top of ours, which is going to make our entrance and egress more difficult. We have absolutely no idea what any of these businesses are going to be, so we don't know what's going to change with our living situation. And 50 feet is nothing. Guys, 50 feet is less than here to here. Those buildings are on top of us. So there are a ton of issues here, none of which have been addressed with the surrounding community. And I will be more than happy to yield to somebody else, but I would like to go on the record that this is not complete and we feel very, very uninformed. We didn't even know the entire woods were going to be mowed down for 3 weeks on end over the winter, which was loud and noisy, and that's only the beginning of what construction is going to be. And this is bad. Anybody else?
One moment. Sorry, I had my mic off. Ms. Trebanik?
Yes.
I didn't catch your address because it was.
Sorry, 260 Maple Ridge Drive.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can see my little house there on the.
I have a question for Dan. Do you know what the setback is currently before they put the extra 50 feet in?
What currently the setback is, in terms of, it's all based upon the land use category, and I don't believe they have any units adjacent to the road, right? I mean, they're all well
Didn't you
back.
say that, or did I misunderstand you? I thought you said that the property line that goes along Maple Ridge, there were currently trees there, and that you were going to go an additional 50 feet beyond what the current setback is. Was I misunderstanding that?
Yeah, from the property line that I described,
Yes.
it's not in the ordinance, but we're going back an additional property line, which will be no development, there'll be no tree cutting, no grading, anything.
Okay, so,
And then there'll be a yard area beyond that, and then the townhouses. So the townhouses are way back along the road back here. And from that toe of slope that you see right there, that's even in further than the buffer, from the toe slope to the front of the townhouses is 120 feet, and the townhouses are what, about 30? Something like that. So there's another 90 feet of yard area there. In addition to, there's approximately 20, 30 feet right there between the buffer and the toe slope. So if you look at where the property line is, it's in the tree. If you look at a tree line on Maple Ridge, the property line is in beyond the tree line, and then it's another 50 feet, and then there's approximately another 20 feet right there from the buffer to the toe slope on the grading, and almost another 90 feet to the townhouses.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, sorry.
Thank you for clarifying a lot of that residential. I think that we all have questions as far as how far that would be. I happen to live on the other side of the road at Maple Ridge, and so my main concern is what is this business building going to be that's immediately across from the townhouse?
Well, in general, we don't know exactly what businesses are going to be on the pad yet.
Well, do you have something, I don't understand commercial zones. Is there some type of zoning in commercial? You know, at one point I heard that there was gonna be a hospital with a helicopter pad back there. So I don't know anything about what's.
Yeah, so it will be, of course, yeah. So it will be, it will fit within the commercial use there. I mean, most likely it will be something in the name, in the retail-ish or something to that effect. But we don't know yet exactly what it's going to be. Exactly.
And how I don't understand how you did a 2017 traffic study and you're putting all these in, and how you're gonna do a traffic flow study when you don't even know what businesses are going to be. That's not adding up in my head.
The way a lot of these developments are done, pads are developed, and the developer works on what those tenants are going to be. So assumptions go into the traffic study on what those potential uses could be, and then from that, it equates to a certain number of counts of cars or, you know, any type of vehicle that could be there. And then the improvements are based on that. So, you know, those assumptions are pretty conservative. So it works out that the improvements easily accommodate, you know, the traffic that's going to be on the roads. But that's,
Do you do something like the theory of random arrival so that you have a different traffic flow at between 4 and 6 p.m. and you build for that, or do you build for between, 11 and 2?
yeah, so terms that people may be familiar with, we look at peak hour traffic and when that's going to occur. It's based on the uses, and so you're looking at what the peak hour traffic might be and designing the improvements around that. So you could go up there sometimes during the day and you could see very little cars sitting at the traffic lights, but if you went other times, there would be more cars. So everything's designed around the peak traffic.
It is for the peak traffic.
Right, right.
That's the main concern. And then exactly how far is the secondary entrance from our entrance? Is it in green there, or what is that? Is it in gray? Yeah, I can't tell exactly.
Yeah, I think the secondary entrance comes down roughly where that green is at. That's why I was asking what the green was,
Yes.
so I could understand it
I don't
better
think you
myself.
actually see our exact entrance on there. Do you know how far those two entrances are from each other?
Yeah, so here's the scale on here. An inch is 150 feet. So if you look at that area right here, and then you come down to the bottom, the Maple Ridge entrance is right here, if you can see that. And then this one's up here. So that's approximately an inch. So
And where's the all flag?
It's
What?
just north of it.
All flag, we have all flag on the other side. And they have their shifts too.
yeah, so they're across the road over here.
Yes.
Yes. But as John described before, the first thought was we were only going to open this up to emergency use vehicles, and that's the way that it first came onto the plan. And then the other thought is it's gonna be limited just to the residential uses, so it's gonna be minimum cars. And then the other thing too is PennDOT has a very detailed process, and they review everything, and we have to design to their guidelines. So this is all PennDOT road, and then it's township design criteria coming down through Pat E. So we have to follow that criteria. We have to make sure that the entrances and driveways all work together, and they review that very thoroughly, and our engineers design it in accordance with all their standards. So when you go through that process, at the end of the day, it all works like it should. So this plan right here is a site plan, basically presenting the uses on the property, and then the permit process is just starting. So I heard somebody mention back there about plans. So after this, those plans go beyond the preliminary design, and we submit for permits. The township will review it again. PennDOT will review it. DEP will review it. So there's a detailed process to make sure we're following all the requirements.
Thank you, I appreciate that, very much, that explanation. One final question, do we know how many homes are being built from the lot?
Yes, that was this other plan here. So Lot E, we have it listed here as 78 townhomes.
78 townhomes, and then you go up further, and I can't really see it.
Okay.
You go up further, was that single-family homes,
Yes.
the upper right side?
So this is townhomes, and then
Townhomes,
those are apartments.
apartments,
Yeah.
how many are there?
Like 180? Go 180, or did you
Very
use
little
200?
traffic has a different definition for us, apparently.
So the apartment units are 265.
So you're adding all of that, and the one entrance and exit that's one lane. And not lost in.
No, that's not accurate. So go ahead and go back to your map, please. So the way that we've discussed this with them in the past and what they're providing for us here is that the residential, everybody in the residential units will have the choice to.
Move up so I can see that a little better.
I'm sorry?
Step
Yeah.
Oh, can you step up? Oh, yeah, please. Yeah, so the resident, the people who, the residential units, those residents can choose to enter or exit this way or out Lewicki Road.
And where's the Lewicki one?
So that exit is up here that comes to the roundabout,
Oh,
and
there's
it
the
goes out,
roundabout.
up to a light up there.
They're never gonna take Lewicki. No, they're.
Look at all they have to go through to get
Yeah,
to it.
they're gonna come right out of here.
Well, they're gonna go the fastest way,
Yeah. The
right? They're gonna do
apartments
what's
might take Lewicki,
convenient
but
for
they-
them, right? And that's what we wanted when we had this discussion in the past, was that the residents would have that option, but we didn't want to see any commercial traffic coming down through that, through that way at all. Well, that's something that I think we just.
Yeah,
acknowledged we don't
that'll
know.
be a,
Realistically, how can you guys?
that'll be a
Oh.
condition that'll be a condition that the board will review and that PennDOT will review.
Understood, but like realistically, is there gonna be somebody there writing traffic tickets day in and day out?
I don't think that that's going to be I can't speak for the Board of Supervisors,
Yeah.
but I can't imagine that would be, that it would just be signage and traffic law enforcement. Well, it's a private road, I think is what you said.
Correct.
So there's a potential for maybe gated,
We're going
Community.
to explore all of our options, but yeah,
Right.
there could be gating, it could be, so we can make it so that it's key fobbed, or we can do something to that effect. So yes,
Right.
that's the option.
Yeah.
I like that idea a lot.
Yeah, so that,
The only way to control it properly would be to gate it to limit the access.
And
We're-
it would be a selling point for your townhomes too.
Yeah.
I've taken enough of your time, thank you.
no, of course.
hey, Jack, can you make sure that mic's actually on?
I have a good voice.
Jeff,
Okay. That's- I wasn't sure. That's why I
Oh,
just asked him.
Sean Lewis, Clinton, PA.
I'm sorry, it was Sean?
Lewis, Lewis, Clinton, PA. Can you point up on there where the apartments are? There's a line. Right, you're right. Yeah, just stop.
What is your address, please?
366 Backbone Road, Clinton, PA.
Clinton, PA?
Yeah, like Bill Clinton.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, just trying to get down.
Below the apartments there, you have a line that runs from the green line over to Morganza. Is that another road access, or what is that? Right there, yeah, that's it.
That's a gas line.
The gas line, all right. Are you guys planning on widening Lewicki Road at all, or
Yes.
are?
Yes, sir, we are.
Through what, eminent domain, or
What do you mean?
I own the property
Which property?
on Lewicki Road?
Yeah, that's currently a PennDOT road.
What do you, I mean, Mr. Sabatino's been in contact trying to widen it, and I told him there's only one way he's gonna widen it.
So Mr. Sabatino is, I know that he's speaking with you. So are you High Song and Lewis? Is that?
I'm Lewis.
You're Lewis of High Song and Lewis. Yeah, so Mr. Sabatino said that he's, working with you, so, we need to get some signatures from you for the road impacts, correct?
My name is Ken McLaughlin. I'm at 207 Maple Ridge.
Yes, sir.
You got that?
Yes, sir.
All right. If I'm interpreting that thing correctly, the green line that's coming out to Morganza, that's where the 78 or whatever they are, number of townhomes is going to be. Is that correct?
Yeah, so.
Yeah,
For what has been referred to as the secondary entrance? Yes, that area. All those little hatch marks represent the individual lots for the, and did I hear you correctly? You're talking about 255 apartments?
265. yes.
265 up here.
265. Oh, it's getting better. Well, then, we're talking 325, 350 units altogether that are going to be using that green line.
Well, no, they're going to be able to come out, there's going to be both, they're going to have both Lewicki Road and the private road here.
Well,
And
okay,
majority of, I think that you can even make the fair estimate.
I can't hear you very well.
I'm sorry, you can make the fair estimate that the majority of folks in the apartments will most likely go out Lewicki Road.
I would doubt that, because why would they cut through an industrial area? For all we know, at this point, you could have an Amazon distribution thing back here in the industrial commercial area, and that exit is going to be busy as all get out.
If I could address that, the secondary access, like I said, it's not even through the permitting process. It was proposed on the plan as an emergency use, and the potential to have some limited controlled use, and whether it's gated or whatever the situation is, it won't be open to the entire development, because I know right now PennDOT will not permit that. So as this goes forward, it's only going to be the number of cars that are actually permitted to go out here. So it's not going to be the entire development, and it's going to have to be controlled. It won't be open to the entire development. I know PennDOT won't approve that.
And I admit I can't hear all that doggone well. So I'm going to ask a question that was already considered. Morganza, as it comes down there, are you proposing, or is PennDOT going to be either widening the rather narrow road that comes down between the two entrances that you're talking about, taking it out to it at least 3 lanes, perhaps with turning lanes or something like that. It looks like disaster near our entrance, very frankly.
Well, that entrance is, it's going to be emergency use, whether, the fire trucks, any other use that's emergency use. That's the only thing it was intended for originally. And any limited use that can be controlled, and like I said, it's not going to be open to the entire development, and it's not going to happen that way. It's not going to be all the traffic coming down to that point, because PennDOT would never permit that. It'll be a limited number of cars that would be allowed to come out on that secondary access.
Well, yeah, but once the residents are in those 325, 350 units, they're not going to be saying, oh, no, you're not allowed to go that way.
Right, that's why it has to be controlled. It's not going to be an open road, it has to be controlled. And I'm sure when the township reviews this, they would say the same thing, that it can't be an open access down there because, first of all, PennDOT won't permit it onto their road, and I'm sure if the township saw that they would not give a permit either.
Well, certainly going to be interested to find out how this thing continues to be developed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Thank you. Michelle Turbanek again, 260. My recommendation here is until they figure out how exactly they are going to deal with possibly 1,000 vehicles, 265 units, 78 units, let's say on average 2 cars per unit. And I know how many vehicles are in my neighborhood. There's 3 and 4 in some of my townhouses. I would table this until they figure out how to deal with that traffic flow. Just me.
Barbara Hamilton, 307 Maple Ridge Drive. Could you just clarify what that gray line is between Maple Ridge? Yeah, is that the buffer, the woods?
Yeah, that's the extra buffer that's being provided.
So what do you mean by extra buffer? Like,
It's not actually a requirement in any of the ordinances, but there was a meeting a few years ago, and there was additional visits to the site, and the buffer was provided just to have that extra space between the townhomes that are right there and the new townhomes that were going to be built on the other side.
well, I'm just trying to understand, does extra buffer mean the only buffer? Like, there is no other buffer, is there? Or what total would be the buffer between?
Yeah, so there's no buffer on the Maple Ridge side. So behind these houses, it's just the townhouse to the property. And it could have occurred the same way on this side, however, that additional 50 feet was provided. So that's an additional 50 feet that is just provided to keep the trees there, to lessen the visual impact of the development. And then, like I said earlier, there's about another 20 feet right here, and then almost another 90 feet to the back of the townhouses. So, if you add those all together, you're looking at, I think that's about 160 feet until you see the townhome. And I did want to address the traffic again because, with the site plan, the developer is looking to get the uses approved within the interstate highway district. And then these other questions that are coming up, I mean, there is a traffic study and there's some preliminary work done, but that is beyond what is done at this point. This is only to look at the uses that are being proposed. So there's also an additional process that would take place after this. So the township has the land development approval process, and all those details will be designed and permitted, and PennDOT has a permitting process, and DEP and the county have permitting processes. So this is to show a site plan for the conditional use approval only, and all those other details that you're asking about are beyond this point and will be designed and permitted at a future date.
But Keith, I have to add in that this is a conditional use. So the idea of a conditional use is that the Board of Supervisors and the Planning Commission can make recommendations on conditions. So at this point in time, we already discussed some of the conditions, like the traffic improvements have to be made. The Planning Commission could say that this emergency access has to be limited to only the residential use. The buffer requirement is another condition. So the Board of Supervisors can layer reasonable conditions onto the development to protect the interests of the adjoining properties. And then, as Mr. Voss said, when they come in for final approval, we would review again all of those particular details to make sure that they complied with the conditions that were initially approved. So think of this as sort of the master plan phase, and then there will be significantly much more detail worked out as the plans are developed, and that's the process.
Objectively, there's nothing masterful about this. This is a hot mess.
Well, you're right to your opinion, but it's zoned for what they
Okay.
want to do, and they have to make the case for it, which they're here tonight to do.
Where exactly is the hospital doing?
As of right now, we don't have one.
You don't have one?
We don't, as of right now, we're not, there's no hospital that we have on file right now, but, you know, we're open to, as I said, whatever we can find in conditional use.
So I'm putting up all the noise from helicopters flying in and out.
I'm not sure if there's going to be a helicopter. I don't know how that all started. Well, again, I don't know if there's going to be a helicopter. I can't say.
Yeah, so back to what Dan was saying, like, that's not where we're at in this process, right? Where we're at on this process right now is on the conditional use application, right? We can't predict who they're going to potentially come back and make additional application for a future tenant, right? They could, this property could be developed and not have any hospital in it. And 20 years from now, multiple buildings can be bulldozed and new uses be put in. So there's a lot of unknown, and I understand that a lot of people are uncomfortable with unknown, especially whenever it's so close to where they're at in the moment. But that's not where we're at in this process right now.
Just so I understand one further thing, Warren, I'm looking at these businesses right here that are abut Maple Ridge. That's my concern right now. I can't really tell what this is doing. Where's the road to get to the building, first off?
Right, that's the cul-de-sac there, and it comes straight down from the.
No, I mean, are the roads behind these buildings next to Maple Ridge, or are they in front of them? This is the main artery right there. Okay, so it's going behind.
Yeah.
And then from that road to the back of Maple Ridge, what's all in there? Okay.
Yeah.
And then when the road goes to the top of where
Trees.
we turn,
Sorry.
I mean, that's a nice
Right
area
here?
there. There's a lot of trees there, so but the one that's up here, right?
Here?
Yes. And that has that road coming for that one.
Right.
Are you
No, there's
making
no
any?
road.
There's no road there.
Yeah.
Road there.
That has no road?
That's-
That
no.
whole thing is no road on the back?
That's a pond. That's a water feature,
Mhm.
and there's a difference in grade.
Okay. Yes. And that's not a road behind their houses?
No.
No,
Okay, and but the road will behind these houses, but you'll have the forest in between.
There's no road there.
That's
Yeah,
not-
so this over here is all,
That is.
that'll all be grass.
That's
and
all
trees.
grass.
That's good, but the road does come down this way,
Yeah, and
behind
that-
this building.
Yeah, you have a
That's all
difference in
grass and
elevation, and
trees.
you'll have landscaping and trees and
Okay.
grass.
Okay, thank you for that again. I know I'm asking a lot of questions, I'm so sorry.
No,
You're
the
okay.
closer those lines are together that you see on the map, that's the difference in elevation. So that means it's a pretty significant hill that you're going to see a slope with a bunch of trees. You're not going to see the back of that building or the
It'd
road.
be so helpful if I could read this map, but I
It's
can't.
it,
I'm
no,
sorry.
it's a three-dimensional depiction in 2 dimensions.
The building's actually
that note-
way up here beyond all this area.
With the gradient lines over here behind Maple Ridge, is that an increase in radiance or does it go downhill? Like go right. If we go over here where these gradients, yes,
Over here?
where those gradient lines are, does it go up in gradation there or does it go downhill?
That goes down.
That's
So
the
will
big
these
hill.
townhouses be lower or higher? Than
Lower.
It'll be lower.
Lower.
Yeah.
Below you.
Yeah, there's a lot of lines in there, and each one of those lines represents either a foot or 2 feet.
Okay.
Hopefully it'll be low enough that,
You won't see it.
Yeah.
I know. I can't see it. I can't tell what it is either. So, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely.
I think we have a few more questions.
Okay.
Dennis C. Sluchak, 47 Grudovich Road. My question to the you gentlemen and ladies of the board, you said that this is just preliminary and it's really going to not change. How can you grant a conditional use on something that is so vague?
We can't grant anything. We are recommending body that provides advice to the Board of Supervisors, who will consider everything and make a decision. We're listening. I'm writing things down, writing a lot of stuff down, and then we're going to make recommendations to them for their meeting when they consider this.
But just for everybody, before Dennis, just to stay on that point, just so everybody knows, when South Point was developed and South Point 2 was developed, it was developed the same way. It was just, there's a different designation for it, but essentially the same process, land use category, and then individual plans came in for the development of South Point. So,
Lot by lot.
yeah, lot by lot.
Correct.
But the thing of it is, when they did do this to South Point, they had some pretty good improved roads to go out on. This whole, like this young lady right here said, in analysis of how many's just in the townhouses. Look at those buildings. Look at how many employees are you looking at. And right now, they're proposed to dump it on Lewicki Road, which Lewicki Road is only a 33-foot right-of-way. So then they're dumping it on Merganza Road. How's that going to negatively impact the existing roads trying to get out on there?
All I can say is that is the part of the process of the development of a traffic impact study, which is why I asked originally when we first started, have you looked at the counts? They said, yes, we took additional counts a couple months ago. We're going to ask them to add that information to the existing traffic impact study. It's up to PennDOT and the township to review that information and make recommendations and requirements on the improvements of both of those roads. And take into account the proposed development, or at least the overall master plan, on what those improvements need to look like, and what these gentlemen will then have to do.
Okay, but to me, that's given them a pretty good okay to go and build what they're building. If
There's
this
no
goes
okay to
through.
We're not
anything.
giving, yeah, go ahead, Jason.
Yeah. First off of what we're saying, there's absolutely no okay to do anything. Again, we are a recommending body, make recommendations to the Board of Supervisors. Even then, if we make our recommendations and the Board of Supervisors approves this conditional use plan, they're going to be able to place conditions upon that approval, which could further put additional encumbrances upon the developer in order for them to be able to develop it so that it minimizes impact to the community and ensures enhancement of the use of the property into the surrounding community, right? And then from there, that's not, again, not a permission to build, it's a conditional use plan. So then they would have to make application for the individual development of each lot. So it is a process. It's the first step of a process, and it's a you know, I understand the concern. It's a big development, especially and it's very close to your property. So I understand it. I understand your concern, and I love the fact that you're all here, because this is local government working, right? That everybody's here and voicing their concerns, and I appreciate all of you to answer their questions and to listen to their concerns, even if the question wasn't necessarily germane to the application that's before us at this time, right? Because we're all trying to get to the same point of making sure that they can develop the property in a way that's going to best, help me out here, best enhance the community, right?
That this process is just basically their dream of what they want to put on this property.
Right.
By the time it comes to this board, goes back to the township supervisors, the township supervisors say, we don't like this, we like this, whatever. Then they redo their plans, then it comes back to this board again. So it's going to be multiple processes of going through this. So just because they say this is what we think it's going to look like, does not mean that that's what, at the end of the day, they're actually going to get. They may say they want 265 apartments, but by the time the engineers relook at it with all the conditions and everything else, they may only end up with 180. So this is just what they think they can do, but that doesn't mean that that's what they're going to be allowed to do.
And, if you recall, this started off as office space. And everybody knows that's probably not a...
Right.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Well, I think the main concern of all of us citizens here is that this board takes our concerns and take it straight to the township
Board of Supervisors?
supervisors, and that we get answers, not just maybes.
Yeah, I have everything written down. That's why I was trying to get names, addresses right, so we have the minutes accurately, and that gets supplied to the board. And I would invite you to come out and speak to them when this gets brought before them.
Well, the other concern I have on that, where's the sewage running?
It's the green line.
Pardon me?
The big green line is the proposed sewer line.
I'm sorry, I can't really see that.
It's this green line right here that I'm showing with the pointer.
Okay, that's coming right down onto Lewicki Road.
No.
No.
That's Morganza.
That's
The Wicky's
Morganza.
up there.
Wiki's over here.
Coming down to Morgan's over here.
Yeah.
Okay, which one's Lewicki?
Page north.
Lewicki's up top there. See the traffic circle?
I don't know where Lewicki is.
Lewicki goes
That's Lewicki right there.
up and to the right there. Yep.
Now that's Lewicki Road.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Where's it come down onto Morganza Road?
Where
Right here.
The sewage comes down to Morgan's over here. Lewicki's all the way up there.
Yeah.
It's not
That's-
going anywhere near it.
That's the intersection of Morganza on the Wiki.
I'm trying to, with the lay of the ground and running the sewer. Okay, the Wiki Road is that far to the right.
No.
No.
It's
The Wiki Road's
where his
See where the
laser
pointer
pointer is.
Okay.
That's Lewicki Road.
Okay.
stop.
You're fine.
Ready, you stop well before, so you can see that it's, and, yeah. You see what the green line is? Yeah. So, yeah, so we're not, actually doesn't go, we don't even go near Milwaukee except for at the roundabout. Just to be able to attach pad A.
And this comes down on Morganza Road,
Right there, yeah.
Where we'll attach.
Yep.
and that's how close to Maple Ridge entrance. And then where does it go from there?
Goes
Yeah.
into,
The existing system that we'd connect into.
Yeah, so the, who's on the sewer?
This,
Man, you ought to be able to answer that.
I'm just over here listening to you, brother.
Pardon me?
I'm just over here listening to you. I'm ready to chime in anytime anybody wants me.
Yeah,
So the actually when Maple Ridge was developed, there was a pump station put in, and there's a pump station that's owned by CTMA that pumps to another North Strabane pump station, which ultimately goes to Cannonsburg.
So the sewer's gonna come down, run along Morganza Road down to Maple Ridge's pump station.
Yes, or they'll tie into a manhole, a gravity manhole that's already there. I'm not sure. They have what we call a will serve letter from the municipal authority that they can service the development. The details will be worked out, but they can service the development by gravity, Keith.
Yeah, we're going to have gravity flow through the development, and we have a letter from the Cecil Township Municipal Authority, the North Strabane Township Municipal Authority, and the Cannonsburg Houston Joint Authority that sewer service is available.
Okay, that all goes into the Cannonsburg plant.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
And I thought that they just upgraded that and they were already out of EDU.
No, I just talked to their engineer yesterday, and they have plenty of capacity. And we got a letter that they can service the development with the gallons per day that is proposed for the discharge.
Okay, so there's.
They said they have a lot of, yeah. They weren't even worried about what we were sending there. They said they have a lot of capacity.
Great. That means I can then extend that line up to my birthplace, right?
You probably could.
That's possible. You'd have to make applications just like they did and have those conversations.
Dan will do that. All right, well, we'll see what happens.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
do me a favor, next time these come out, bring some printouts of that. So we can all see it better from the back of your mouth there, or to read it.
Of course.
Okay.
Another time at bat, Ken McLaughlin, 207 Maple Ridge. I'm glad to hear that Mr. Anderson is making notes as to our concerns. If you might add a couple additional concerns, how can you plan on make a reasonable guess on the traffic when you have no idea at this point, as far as I've discerned, of all of those operations that are going to be in the blue? Are they going to be one-man shops, or are you going to have an operation in there that is 250 people that are going to be trying to get in and out of that plant? Another issue, who will be the final decider as to what kind of businesses are allowed to go in there? Is it going to be a retail thing that's relatively quiet except for an awful lot of traffic? Who's to say that they don't want to build a forge shop? And if anybody is familiar with the noise that comes out of a forge shop, you would jump back in horror. Somewhere that is going to be able to thump, thump, thump 24 hours a day right into our properties over there. And who is the deciding body that decides who is allowed to go in there and what kind of businesses is
The kind of businesses
is granted?
the kind of businesses are actually outlined in the ordinance, in the zoning
I'm sorry,
ordinance.
I can't hear you.
The kind of businesses are actually outlined in the zoning ordinance. And so part of what it is that they have to do with the conditional use, it says you can only put these kind of buildings in this district, or these types of businesses are only allowed in this district as conditional use. So
Okay,
the
so-
supervisors would be the one to approve.
Everybody's here.
No, that's okay. The supervisors would be the ones to approve that, but it would be outlined in the ordinance as it stands.
Yeah,
The current,
that-
the
no,
current zoning ordinance?
That's what, you showed them the box keys, that's what.
Do we have those zoning ordinances now? Can we see them?
It's online. It's actually through the website, and our township does a fantastic job of updating them. When any ordinance has been updated, they do that quarterly, whereas E-Code, I think, only does it once or twice a year. So if you go on our website, on the township website, you can look for the ordinance
Thank you.
under government,
Your government.
as Jack said.
Oh, and do we have an anticipated timeline of length of time for construction?
It all depends on what happens this evening. And I'm saying it tongue in cheek, so I take that back. So step one, and again, we're multiple approvals, multiple meetings away from these gentlemen actually getting out there and turning dirt. There's a lot of stuff that needs to happen. I don't think so. These are at least the most adjacent.
Mr. Haynes, is it my understanding that you're going to grade this site in its entirety at one time?
Correct.
Right.
So in other words, they're going to do all of the land preparation at one time. So think about it like a plan of lots, maybe like when they build new homes, that the lots might sit there for a while before a building goes on it, but all of the major earthwork, ponds, grading, everything else will be done. And then as particular people come in and want to buy a lot, they would bring a plan back in, and that plan would be reviewed again before it's constructed. So,
Yeah, so for a project like this with the amount of cubic yards, you could be looking probably a maximum of 2 years. And we've built many developments. Well, it'll be, yeah, that would be the maximum I would think that would occur on a site like this.
Construction hours are 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. So that's across the township.
And again, that 2 year window is for the entire development. So
Correct.
you're not going to have, a bulldozer or a pan truck, going, right along the back of Maple Ridge property line, for 2 years. It's the entirety of the property.
Yeah, so what typically happens with a project like this, and this is the way we envision it, is this area over here would occur first, so there'd be many months on what you see on the left side of the plan, far away from Maple Ridge. And then after this area was done, they would proceed to a different area, so then you could see construction work over here in Pad D where I'm circling now, and you'd probably finish up down here. So there's going to be, the amount of time over here is going to be, substantially less than the entire construction period. So when it starts, you're going to see many, many months of work just in this area right here, which is the furthest away from Maple Ridge. And most of the cut is this hill that's coming out. So, you're going to see a lot of work here right in the middle. And, yeah. It's used for fill. So this is where most of the cut comes from the site, right here in the middle. And then, now the cell tower's over here, so it's not going to...
the old one,
Yeah, the old one is right
The old
there.
one was,
Oh, right in the
the old
middle.
one was south of Lewicki.
Okay.
So the old cell tower is right here. So, and it won't be, I love you, Keith, but, so the estimates we have, it won't be 2 years. The estimates that we have, but I will tell you this much, is that the majority of the work that's going to be done is going to be right here, right? Because that's the hillside, that's what we're going to be moving to fill, to flatten everything out. I mean, to cut, to make everything level. So if you think about it, here is not, your disturbances will only be here, and that's not going to take very long. Because you already know that.
You don't live there.
Huh?
You're not gonna live through it.
I'm not saying that I live there, but I was just giving you an indication on how long, where the disturbance would be. And for here, as you know, you've been there, this is almost relatively flat, as you know.
So I can speak to the township's response outside of construction hours. And I know they do a fantastic job with that because I live right by the expressway. And as the expressway was being built, they wanted to do construction 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I was pregnant twice during that time. I can tell you that the township went to bat for its residents to make sure that that construction was not happening outside of hours that they agreed on with PennDOT. And I know that they will do the same and will respect that with conditions for this developer on this project. And I would hope, based on your concerns, that they're able to have some more open communication lines with you and work on being a good neighbor. While I understand, as Jason said, a lot of your concerns are on things that we cannot outline specifically yet, nor can they. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah.
Thank you.
And actually, I'm happy to speak on the traffic, especially the secondary means of access and egress. It's because that's something I've been passionate about for a long time. And actually, Barbara, as her and I have shared that concern for a long time. And the original plan was to have a single point of access, egress off Lewicki Road for the entire development. And to me, that's just entirely unacceptable to me personally, right? And so I wasn't alone in that opinion, but that I'm telling you what my opinion was in that moment. And so there was a lot of talk about a means of secondary access and egress. I think it originally started as an emergency access and egress, which is part of what my concern was. But then, the idea came about to also make it available for a regular means of access and egress. But then the concern became, you have to control that flow. And like you said, PennDOT would never. I mean, it would require substantial engineering controls to be able to allow full traffic from the entire development. And I don't know anybody who would want to live in that residential portion if all that commercial development was able to use it as well. You would agree,
Correct.
Right? So they don't want all that traffic going. They don't want all that traffic going down that way. Just like we don't want all that traffic going down that way. But we want to have the means to have some traffic go that way, especially in the event of an emergency, which was part of what the concern was. So I really appreciate all the feedback myself. I really appreciate all the feedback and the concerns about it. We all have had our moments. I remember when you were struggling with the turnpike as well. So we've all had our moments with that, and there's some good feedback tonight.
Didn't 117 try putting his development through Maple Ridge as an access?
Oh, yes, he did.
I told
No,
you.
that was a no.
He bought 2 lots and tried doing it. That's a fact.
He tried to connect with Maple Ridge.
Well, lots of people have lots of ideas. So, but that's why we have this process, right?
On that note, where we were looking where the gas line is running, right, from sewage out to, is there some reason a road can't be there? I mean, obviously, I don't understand the grading of it all. Is there some reason we didn't look at that instead of putting it right on top of Allclad and us?
Yeah, so we did.
Yeah, I don't think that's.
We did look at the potential of a road through here.
Yeah.
The grades are incredibly steep. I believe it was 16, 17% coming through here, which would have been incredibly steep.
Yeah.
I don't know if any fire trucks or anybody else would have considered it for emergency access. Yeah, but we did.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and unless anybody else in commission objects, I'm going to close the public comment portion of this. I really appreciate you all coming out and sharing your thoughts and concerns with us. Yes. We have a lot to digest here. So does you wrote a lot of notes. I know you were scribbling a lot. I have some notes as well. Do we have anything that we can put together into some type of motion? Yeah, we don't need to make a motion. Let's talk about it first and get our thoughts together.
Yeah, I wrote 4 down.
When's the next meeting on this?
I don't know that. I don't know when the next meeting is.
Well, hey, I mean, if we make if we recommend this to be approved, then the next meeting on this would be the Board of Supervisor meeting, am I correct?
Well, the Board of Supervisors the only thing they would do at their next meeting would be set a public
Set
hearing.
a public hearing, right.
Yeah.
But that's the next time it would be addressed as Board of Supervisors meeting, then they set the date for the hearing.
They set the date for the hearing, yeah, which is
Now
going
it'll
to
be
put it out a
posted.
few months.
Now it'll be posted on the website.
And publicly posted.
Oh, yeah, in the
around-
newspaper, on the website. It'll be on the front page. It'll be sent out to the distribution list, et cetera. Also, I just want to let you know, this is being recorded. If you want a transcript of this, I can make it for you in 4
Please.
We'll do.
Thank you. So I wrote down 4 things that kind of
Yeah.
summarizes some of the concerns of here. Well, regular communication, between the developer and the residents, at least better communication. I heard that. We need to have that. Additions to the existing traffic impact study on the recent counts in a formal manner to document what was discovered in that recent investigation. Clearly define the buffer areas because there was confusion on what an additional buffer area is between the proposed townhouses and the Maple Ridge development, and then limit access to the along the secondary access point to residents only in some controlled fashion. Those are the 4 ones that I wrote down that kind of summarize a lot of the concerns. I'm sure you guys have others that maybe I missed.
I think we also had township conditions for the traffic for the limitations to be able to develop the individual lots based off of the completion of PennDOT's recommended improvements, that the township conditions should mimic that. You can word that a lot better than I just said it. Thank you.
I got it. Anything I missed, Candy, Christie?
I think it might be difficult because in a community there's people moving in and out, and you as the HOA president are going to have more knowledge of that, but I don't know how long your term is or how long you want to have your term to be. And with that, I think it's a bit difficult to say with that community as a whole. But if there would be a point of contact, if you have a Maple Ridge HOA president at gmail.com email, that they can make sure that they communicate, but they would also want to do so with neighboring properties. That would be, I think, a fairly reasonable condition that I would like to recommend to the supervisors as a matter of just letting people know what's going on. Because I can tell you PennDOT had a lot of meetings before they did the expressway, but when it came time to figure out what was going on, it was a bit more difficult, and the township did a fantastic job as an intermediary for that. And so if there is not communication going on, or if communication breaks down, as it does in any and all relationships at some point, that you can always come to the township and ask them to serve as your intermediary.
So I'll just, if I could say something on the traffic,
Yeah.
So traffic has been the whole holdup of this project for many, many years.
Yeah, it has.
So I know John has worked hard on solutions, finding money to make this all happen. Typically, what I'm used to related to these types of studies is that there's a projection of traffic based upon particular land use, and the traffic engineers have books that have studied developments all over the country, and they know how many trips can be generated by any particular use. So that's what PennDOT uses as the basis for a study. And there's usually trips, they look at the morning and the afternoon peaks related to how traffic flows in and out of a development. And I can assure you that PennDOT will limit this access point. They will know the amount of traffic that's generated. And then typically after a development is underway or has started, they will actually do updated counts, make changes to things because things always change. That's one thing for sure. But the basic improvements that they're putting in are going to substantially be able to at least achieve the objectives that you have right now. Is that, I don't want to, I'm not presenting for you, but I just know how much work has been put into the traffic. I don't want people to think that nobody's thought about the traffic. This is like 10 years in the making of this traffic.
And the
It's a lot.
traffic is, this is, and I don't want you to think that, we're just going to put a road there and, they're going to, and either the township or PennDOT's going to let us.
Right.
There's going to be a lot, there will be studies, there will be permits, there will be, we're not just putting a road and opening it up on Morganza. It's going to go through, as Keith said, as Mr. Dan said, and, and the planning commission here is well aware is that it will be a process through PennDOT to make sure that we are meeting their criteria and that it's safe, which is the most important thing.
Okay. Does anybody want to
just-
take a swing?
Just so I think you're going to, just if you're going to do a motion, I'm just going to suggest that it's, the process you're in here is recommending the illustrative site plan. And you can add conditions like you guys are talking about, but
Right.
the true motion you would make is, because that's the process we're in, is the illustrative site plan phase. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. Thank you. Yeah, but you know what, it's great to go ahead and say that, yeah, to add first responders onto that.
And we talked about communication with neighbors. Part of that is, as you have done and as you've considered with traffic and grading and where roads can be in ingress and egress, just continuing communication with first responders as well.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Actually, we've been working with the Cecil Fire Department.
Yes, Chief Wolford will be very helpful, I'm sure.
Yes.
It's one of the benefits that that Walt always enjoyed, and I've kind of taken to enjoying it as well. So I don't make the motions.
I will make a motion to approve application 2026-0012, Cool Valley Conditional Use Illustrative Site Plan for review by the township supervisors and with consideration of the following conditions: that regular communication occurs between the neighbors and the developer, that the additions of the information regarding the traffic count are clearly articulated along with the 2017 traffic study, that buffer areas are clearly defined as there seemed to be some confusion, that there will be a control of traffic for residential to Morganza with a limit access point as we have discussed, and that the township conditions for road improvements mimic PennDOT regulations. Additionally, Continual communication with first responders would be requested.
Wonderful.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion to approve and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank
We
you.
really appreciate your time this evening.
Thank you.
And thank you all for your comments and considerations and concerns. We appreciate your questions, and we will make sure they're included in the minutes to make sure the supervisors see them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and this gets to still be a long meeting because now we get to move on to the solar ordinance as our next agenda item.
No, nobody likes solar? Just kidding.
You know, we did miss a gateway engineer letter on the issue.
I'm sorry. Dan, I missed your letter on my motion to approve.
Oh, there was nothing in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was
didn't
really,
think
it was,
so.
ju- it was
The
just
package
real-
was complete.
It was just really the application is complete because it's not, you know, like I said, there's really not technical comments tonight. It's more planning is what you, right? That's what this is.
Yeah.
No. I've learned my lesson in these meetings with rowdy residents. I mean, this same development, that same exact townhouse development with apartments, he built in South Park. Same developer. And I'm not an advocate for the developer. Please don't take it the wrong way. But we made them put a traffic light in out at South Park, and I've never seen a car at the traffic light. Same number of apartments, maybe 200 apartments and more townhouses than they're proposing.
And I was reminded how many different iterations that South Point 2 went through. People did not like it, did not want the original version at
Right.
all. And now everybody loves it. But man, when it was going through, it was there was a lot.
I'm working on 400 acres of mixed use in North Carolina, and we just opened up the target last week. And the traffic patterns always change, and depending upon the use, and then you have adjustments to signals and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it is like there's no such thing as a perfect plan. And
No.
you can't plan it all out
No.
at the beginning. It takes time.
But he's right. There is less traffic in South Point now than there was pre-pandemic. I mean, you go.
Yeah. Bless them. I'm just like, who are you going to get to fill businesses?
Oh yeah, I'm so curious about how that's all going to work. You'll get people to live there because of the proximity to the highway and South Point, but
Well, you'll get conversions to residential.
yeah,
That's coming.
Yeah.
Possibly a hospital.
Well, and just
That'll
like
change
Horizon
things.
has done with some of the office buildings
Yeah.
that they've been through in South Point.
But we can circle back on that whole wonderful discussion after we discuss the solar ordinance.
Dan's pumped. He's ready to go.
On solar, I have no
I've
comment.
never seen him so excited.
I have
in my
no,
life.
no comments on solar. It's all Jack. This is Jack's.
I lost contact with this a while ago, so. God, Dan's here.
Is this the latest version that Gretchen updated?
Yeah, I mean, I see it says draft. Let me see what this other one is. This is the one she sent. Okay. here's-
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
I
I'm
asked
sorry.
for the red line version so we could see what was changed from February.
Okay. There it is. Did I print that up? That one off
You,
with-
no.
No,
We
that's
have-
okay.
We have the 324, but that's, yeah, we're
My
good.
bad. My bad.
No, I got it on my phone. There really wasn't a substantive amount of changes from then until now anyway.
No, it wasn't much.
I mean, aside from terminology, PSS, PSES, what did it come down to? And I know we've talked before, so this is probably a cleaner version, more concise version. And were you here when George Elish gave his monologue on his
Epiphany.
array on his roof and the millions that he's saving and sending back to the utility company? And so, if not, it's recorded. You can.
Yeah, I watched it, yeah.
Can you, one thing I haven't had the chance to look at yet is the Washington County Planning Commission recommendations dated May 12th. Did those, we have those in front of us printed, but did those make it into, what was the date of the most recent edit from
They
Gretchen?
did not.
They didn't
Because
make it in.
this was issued on May 12th, and the version that we're looking at right now is March.
No, I know that. What's the,
Looking at it May 15th.
Oh, well.
yeah, that's what I mean, the May
No,
15th one.
based on my review, they've not updated.
Because it's after it, so that's why I was wondering if she caught that and put that in. I didn't have time to look at that yet.
Well, this update is May 15th. This letter is dated May 12th.
Right, so that doesn't mean that just because it was updated May 15th,
Yeah.
doesn't mean that it took the
Right.
May 12th recommendations into consideration. That's all I just want to see and confirm. So let's just take a look at the first one here, pages 2 and 3, under section 2 and section 7.
They did not follow that.
No, they didn't.
They didn't follow
They
it.
haven't followed it at all. They still have it in residential area.
And that was one of our recommendations, one of our comments in February at our meeting when we looked at the first draft.
And the issue that, I'll wait, go ahead.
I mean, I agree with what the Washington County Planning Commission has asked for in comment 1.
Yeah, PSES be prohibited within all residential districts.
Yeah, if you look at our meeting minutes from the February meeting, we basically say that.
Yeah, we've been consistent on that from
Yeah.
the word go.
Yeah, they have not made that update.
Okay.
I would still recommend that.
Their item 2 is kind of more of just a grammar recommendation.
Yeah, when I was first putting this together, I used several different sources and came up with different terminology. So that was my fault for not
No,
editing those out.
Yeah, no, but it's the, did that make it in there? Page 3, under section 8, accessory,
Page 3,
up,
section 8.
down,
It's in red.
principal.
There it is.
Oh, yeah, I don't think that's,
No, what they need to do is put ASES right next to
Right.
accessory solar energy
Right.
system is the
And then
recommendation.
anytime after that, they
They
use
added-
it, should be
yeah, huh?
AS.
in
Yeah.
section 9, they started doing it, but in section 8, they did not,
Correct.
right? They don't have the PSES after the principal solar energy system or ASES. Yeah, all right. Minor. Page 4, section 9, principal, A, general,
Sorry.
oh, sorry.
For, section 3, page 4, is that what you're going to now?
Section,
Or
Section-
item 3, page
item
4,
3,
under
yes.
section 9?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Yeah, item number 3, page 4, section 9, A, general requirements number 3, it looks like.
9.
This is section 10 now, I think, isn't it, under the new one?
Yeah, see, this is
Oh,
section,
it got
there's
updated.
section 9. Am I missing something?
No, you're good. You're in the right spot. Scroll, scroll down just,
Mine's crossed off on the red line version, and to tell you that it used to be 9 and now it's section 10. So
Okay.
you're at the right spot.
scroll down a little bit. Top, there we go. So number 3 there, the applicant shall submit
Oh, there it is. Okay.
signage listing emergency contact for owners along the perimeter of the property. I think that's a common sense, reasonable recommendation.
Like Columbia Gas or anybody would have that signage on the fencing along the
Yeah.
perimeter.
A cell tower is gonna has that on their fencing. You know, a gas transmission building is gonna have that on their building. Yep, so
Am I missing it? But I don't see it in that section.
it's not there.
No,
Washington
we're,
County
we're, we're
recommends-
saying we agree with what's in the Washington County Planning Commission, comment number 3. They did not add. So far, they have not added 1, 2, or 3.
Okay.
So we're consistent in that. All right,
General requirements 7.
number 7.
They put that one in there. It's section 10, the last.
You're in the right.
Okay.
Number
Yep.
7.
Section 10A7.
Oh, there. Right there.
Yep.
All right, now we've lost the consistency, but we got one. All right.
So in this case, the Washington County Planning Commission suggests specifying a time frame with which in the township must be notified in writing of transfer or any transfer or assignment of ownership or operation of PSES. That is not provided in the current.
Yes, it is.
Oh,
Right here.
It's right here.
oh, I'm here. I am going by the
Look, yeah,
the
look
non-red
here.
line. I'm looking at the screen. All right, we got that one. So
We got one.
Yeah,
All
there
right.
we go. We'll check.
Let's move on to number 5, page 6.
Okay, so we're going to go to B design 14. So B14 is what they are.
B14.
B14
Bingo.
and 39.
Including more specifics in terms of the erosion and sediment control plan. There's nothing, scroll down a little more. Yeah. So it doesn't look like anything was edited since the March one, so, Dan, do you have any thoughts on that one? Washington County's asking for more specificity in the erosion and sediment control plan?
I mean, these things really aren't that, like that intensive in terms of that. I mean, they just put the posts in the ground. I mean, more of the issue is just how do you cut the grass in between them or make them not,
Yeah, and that
that
would just be maintenance. That wouldn't have anything to do with erosion sedimentation control. And typically, Dan, that's governed by the conservation district when they
Yeah,
submit the
it's-
earth disturbance plan.
Yeah, if they're going to disturb over an acre of ground, they're
Yeah, they
gonna-
got to go through the conservation
they're
district. So
gonna
that's
need a
really, I
permit
don't think.
anyway.
So number 5,
Yeah,
we don't agree with?
I don't think it's necessary because they're going to have to get approval if it's over an acre from the conservation district for ENS.
Is it always required to be over an acre? Correct? It is. It's supposed to be
Yeah, principal solar
Yeah.
energy system would,
PSE.
yeah,
7.
would,
Yeah, I thought so. I
yeah,
was
so
thinking, I
they're-
had 3 in my head. But so
yeah, they're
thank
going
you.
to have to get approval from Washington County Conservation District.
Okay.
Certainly don't want to open a new can of worms, but one of the discussion points that Tom Cassiola and I had were, what if, as far as keeping the grass and everything kempt, underneath it, there's certain things that you can do and there's certain things you can't do. So, I went into detail in the original draft, but I think this, this covers it for the most part.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they have pretty significant recommendations in the PSAT's recommended the sample solar ordinance that's out there that you can look at as far as maintenance goes underneath. Yeah, goats.
Well, that's the thing. Goats, yes. Cows, no, because cows tend to rub up against things, and their weight will push over the. There's.
Yeah, and then you'll have a methane issue.
Oh my goodness, and a solar issue. I mean, you've got
that.
you've got fireworks happening there.
Yeah. Instantaneous combustion. I'm done.
All right, number 6. You know we're in a special place when I'm pushing us along.
I think we're getting slap at because we're talking about cows and methane.
I
I'm not
know.
even going to go to, because we're on the.
All right, B17. There it is. So they're suggesting to add more including requirements for battery energy storage systems, safety considerations such as fire suppression system requirements where applicable. I'm kind of liking the basicness of the township thing. They're saying we don't need to rewrite all that here. We cover that in other places, and so they
Where do we cover battery energy storage systems in our township ordinance?
if it's a building, then it's local code, fire code,
Right.
would address all
Yeah,
that.
but there's number 17, RFR says any battery energy storage system shall comply with applicable township requirements. I'm asking,
What are the applicable?
where is that located in the ordinance?
Yeah,
that I can go
yeah,
read?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Because there
yeah.
is no current, to my knowledge, I could be wrong, there is no current battery energy storage in the township that would be needed unless it was for a
Well,
solar
yeah,
system.
and I would agree with that.
I'm sure we have fire suppression ordinance, requirements, but in the ordinance that they just updated, it specifically only addresses battery energy storage, so I don't know if we have an ordinance for that.
If they're going to reference other applicable township requirements in this
Maybe
brief
be more
statement, that they
specific
need to, be more specific, or they need to say, hey, look here in the ordinance section, 8.5 of whatever,
I think that's fair because I think that's what's happening. Is they're saying this is going to be covered under fire code, stuff, things of that, life and safety code. But to both of your points, Kenny and Lauren, is that we should be specific and pointing them where to go find that.
I think it would be helpful.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I mean, because I personally wouldn't look under battery energy storage systems in fire suppression ordinances. Because I don't know that would necessarily exist there as our ordinance currently exists.
It wouldn't, no. No, you'd have to point them to that specifically now.
Yeah, you'd have to cross-reference it.
But
if
see,
it exists.
also, this could fall under decommissioning as well. And that's, I mean, there's a lot in this concept of decommissioning because who's ultimately responsible,
Yeah, and our comments from February, my comments from February that ended up into the minutes was significant additional language needed on decommissioning, prohibiting the burying and disposal on site of solar panel parts and other equipment during decommissioning. I'm just reading from the February minutes. So I think when we get there, we can talk about it, but I think that language could be in there as well.
Agreed.
And I think we're actually pretty close to that. I think that's next item here, number 7. Well, at least it talks about the cost estimate. So we're looking for B21, Jack, so a little bit down, there we go. I think the township was requesting that the cost estimates be updated every 5 years, and Washington County is asking for every 3 years.
Yeah.
I agree with 3 years.
Great. Yeah, I'm good with 3 years for our recommendation.
In my comment, in addition to what they talk about here as far as decommissioning goes, again, I went up and looked at the example that other solar ordinances have, as well as PSET's example ordinances. They talk specifically about prohibiting that burying of stuff on the property, creating an issue for the township.
Mm-hmm.
We need to have that in here, even though it seems obvious.
I don't think it is obvious because I agree with you. It needs to be.
Yeah, and if you all you got to do is Google, and there are several examples of where companies have used solar panels on site, leaving local entities with legacy issues to clean up, even when bonding has been required in advance of the project. The specific language in this section should be stronger and more specific, which is what our recommendation was in February.
Yeah. I stand-
Comparison I did
I'm
with,
you.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but comparison I did with decommissioning in other areas is there's three levels of ownership. First, it's going to be the company that installed it. Then it's going to be the landowner. And then finally, it'll be the township. So if the company that installed it folds for whatever reason, the ownership falls back onto the landowner. If the landowner refuses or can't pay for the decommissioning, it falls on the township. And that's one of the concerns is we don't want to bear that burden. You know, we don't want to be in the three of the responsible parties.
To protect the township, the other recommendation that we had within the February minutes is that there should be a specific section on violations, penalties, and noncompliance, because solar panel development is very different from some of the other, let's just call them industrial developments within the township. PSET's model ordinance, you can go up and look at it, includes a specific section on this. It should include language on not operating in accordance with township approval, non-compliance, specific violations, and even fine amounts. This language obviously would protect the township should a large commercial solar facility within this PSES category choose not to follow the township approval or conditions of their permit. And the only other thing that I don't think that's in here, they do reference the township's noise ordinances. But again, many of these larger facilities, if you walk up next to them, they're that lower frequency noise, that DBC noise that we learned a lot about during the oil and gas ordinance, that is different from DBA, and there ought to be some language in there related to noise specific about those low frequency sources of noise in relation to where, these things are built close to residences, and we'll have folks coming and complaining about the humming.
Mm-hmm.
And that was another recommendation that we had back in February.
Yeah, so I think it's important to, I think we all can agree that any recommendation we made in February that hasn't been implemented, we stand by those recommendations. We want to restate them for the record.
Can you distinguish that between the horizon to horizon ones that are going to move electronically with that higher pitched hum? Not that we have the property. Now, understand, we do not have a lot of locations in Cecil Township that are fit for these large solar panel type farms. Okay, so it's always going to be a smaller scale type thing, but there are going to be the ones that you've probably seen them out west, where they go horizon to horizon, and they follow the sun all day long. So every so often it'll adjust itself, and then so it captures as much sun as possible. That's a different sound than what we're talking about the EBC.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And you're right, there's not a lot of current land that's available. Does that prevent somebody from taking their entire property and demoing the heck out of it? And
if they have 3 acres or more,
right?
And that's, that was originally this was supposed to be 10 acres, then it went down to 5, and somewhere in something that I read, they want a minimum of 3 acres. Right? 3 acres is still a good amount. How many arrays can you get on? Well, George Elish has, Dan, do you remember, does he have 18 panels up on his roof?
Yeah, it's something significant.
He's got a bunch up there, and it's a Tesla system. If you get a chance, watch the video. He described it in length, and it sounds sophisticated and everything like that, but there's also that saturation point. At some point, the utility company says, we can't take any more electricity. People are putting them on their roofs, and they're thinking they're going to make money and that type of thing. There is a saturation point.
One of my concerns that I still have regarding this ordinance It still never addresses the problem that the zoning hearing board had at their hearing. It only addresses for the accessory solar energy system that you're gonna be funding for, using for to supply your own home. It only addresses roof mounted. In their situation, the person was not able to mount it on their roof and wanted to mount it in their yard, and we had no ordinance whatsoever that addressed that. And this ordinance still does not address that. So we still only, if it's allowed in every district, in all zoning districts, but only if they're mounting it on their roof.
Right.
So if you have somebody that has that issue, can't mount it on their roof, then this ordinance does absolutely nothing to address that
Other than
use.
telling them that you can't do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. And that's, and I understand, because there was two sections. There was the roof mounted versus the ground mounted.
And it seems to
Two
me
different
that we
ones.
went
So,
from the roof mounted was only gonna be now in your accessory, and now we went to only the ground mounted are all gonna be in your PSES, which is not necessarily what maybe every resident in this township, maybe not every resident in this township was like that one, that they could mount them on their
Yeah,
roof.
and as a relevant example that I'm familiar with, it's still in Washington County, but just before you get in Allegheny County. If you go up 90, go into McDonald, but instead of making a left to continue on 980, go straight.
Valley Road?
Is that, I was trying to think of the road, yeah, Valley Road. There's right as you crest over the top of the hill before you come down to North Branch Road.
Yep.
There's a farm on the right-hand
left,
side.
yep.
And they, for whatever reason, rather than putting it right, either they couldn't put the panels on their house, or they didn't like, or the way their house was oriented.
I think it was the way the sun
Yeah.
hits it.
So they put in 4x4s and essentially just almost looks like a pavilion, like a lean-to pavilion. So it's a ground-mounted system.
Yeah, and that's particularly what came
But
in
that's
front of
an
the zoning
accessory
hearing
system.
board is
Yep.
they, because of the way that their house was oriented, they were not able to put it on their roof.
So
And yet the ordinance doesn't address that, so.
now, obviously, I would say that I live in Timber Run. I don't think we want a ground-mounted accessory system in Timber Run, right?
But I think in Timber Run, you would have to prove why. Like,
Glare for one thing, okay, because you still have the glare issue if it's ground mounted, all right? So depending on whatever, where you're gonna get maximum sun, like on my place, I'm not too far from Timber Run.
Right.
On my garage, I cannot put them on one side of the garage because the sun just, it's there just a short period of time, short part of the time to utilize it. So it'd have to be somewhere else.
Yeah, and I think, but to Candy's point is that there's no reason why we should stop you
Yep.
on your property if you want to put a ground-mounted accessory system
Right.
to do so.
Right.
yeah,
But
exactly.
in
Like
a-
in Timber Run,
but in
no,
a-
I would
in a-
say no. You
right
know what I
within
mean?
a developed housing
Yeah.
plan, we would not want.
But then in that instance, they could come before the zoning hearing board to prove why they would need it in Timber Run.
That's
You
why
know
it
what I
has to be ground mounted versus roof mounted. It's got to be separated. You can't run the two together because they're two
No,
different.
and the zoning hearing board has to have specific instructions that they can look at to help make their decision, to say, no, it's not gonna work in Timber Run, and this is why we don't think,
And I think the easiest thing to do there is just put a lot size restriction on ground mount. Allow the ground mounted accessory systems, but just put a lot size restriction on it so that, on when your lot size gets so small, you can't do it.
Yeah.
An acre? Half acre?
Yeah.
Most of those lots in Timber Run are quarter acre.
Yeah.
Yeah, the largest lots are a third acre, but it could be anywhere. You could be talking Aldo Piano. Again, your
Well,
lot
that's why
size.
I'm saying you want it to be an acre.
Yeah, I'm saying, I don't know where the line would be. Is it 1 acre, 2 acre, 3 acre?
See, I thought it was 3 acres. The last version I read, I thought we agreed it was 3 acres minimum. But for ground mounted though. But see, that's the thing. If it's roof mounted, it's like George can get 18 on his roof. 10, 5. I don't know.
Yeah. No, and I get it. Like for roof mounted, and I think it needs addressed in the ordinance. If I want to put roof mounted system on my house in Timber Run, I should be able to do so, but I should not be able to put a ground mounted system, in my backyard.
Yeah.
But Jack should be able to put a ground-mounted system at his house because he has the land to do so.
Well, originally they had under the accessory solar, the ground mounted shall not be allowed within a front yard.
Right.
I don't
That's-
see any,
Because of glare.
yeah, I'm just saying that was one of the things that was included, but I don't see anything in this section that says a size for lot, is what I'm saying when I'm reading the old one.
Okay. Tom and I talked about
This
10,
is from,
then 5, and then somewhere we got 3.
Well, what's in the one that, what do we have for accessory systems in this current proposed ordinance? Down.
it's section 9, Jack.
Okay. 7.
It's 9 on the one that I have for the red line. The
Well, minimum
515,
lot size, that's PSES. We're looking for ASES.
section 9, ASES. This is from May, and it says a June hearing.
Yeah, it's the section before that, Jack.
There we go.
Right there, section 9.
Yeah, there's no acreage.
No.
They took it out.
Well, yeah, they're not, that's Kenny's point, is that they're not permitting a ground-mounted ASES in Cecil Township. She's making the argument, and I agree with her, that there are situations where we can and we probably should permit a property owner to put a ground-mounted
I see.
ASES in.
Okay.
And it was in there, and they removed it. I mean, the only thing it stated was you couldn't have it in the front yard.
Right.
Right. It's like the fence
Yeah.
in the front yard, you know.
I mean, it's gonna add, I think it's gonna add some complexity, because now you gotta define the minimum lot size. You're gonna have to, define screening from neighboring properties and potential fencing. There's a lot that we have to add there. But that's our recommendation. We don't have to recommend all those details. We can just recommend that ASCS should be permitted within, a ground-mounted ASCS should be permitted in the ordinance, but put a minimum lot size.
Agreed.
And the other recommendation that I brought up here that was in the minutes, and I also brought it up at a township supervisor meeting, is I requested at the meeting, at the supervisors on behalf of myself, I wasn't speaking for the board, that I had already spoken to the fire chief about the battery storage systems that are located on the houses, and I wanted in the ordinance some protections for the fire department, that the zoning officer, zoning department, or whatever would be required if a permit came in for a solar system to be mounted on a house or in their yard, that there would be some communication between the township and the fire department, so that when they pull up on scene, they know where those battery systems are, where they can shut them off at, et cetera.
Yeah, I'm looking.
I think it's for the safety of the fire department. I asked that it be included. I was told that they would talk to the fire chief. I don't know if they ever talked to the fire chief, but I would still highly recommend for the safety of the firemen that they know that prior to pulling up on scene.
Yeah,
It is in there.
It is.
Yep.
Yep. I know. I'm looking at it right here.
So we're maintaining that from our.
Yeah, I
previous
mean, I think
recommendation.
it's a blanket maintaining of everything that we had recommended at our February meeting that's not been addressed in the current version.
Correct. Okay.
We had 1, 2, 3.
And then,
4,
did we go through item 8 in the commissioner's letter, or the county letter, sorry, county planning commission letter?
Page 2, Jack.
Okay.
No, not your page 2. That's page 2 of the letter from the
Planning
Washington
Commission
County Planning
letter, yeah.
Commission, yeah.
What
No.
number?
It was page 2.
Oh, okay.
On
It is.
page
It's
2.
Okay.
page 2 on here, and
Sorry,
they're
and then it
referencing
says on
page
page
2. You're
6
right.
and 7. Sorry,
Scroll down, Jack.
I'm wrong.
That was addressed, yeah. The UDO, the acronym UDO.
Unified Development Ordinance. Yeah.
Yep, that was then, and then page 6.
Under section 11, the phrase invalid to unconstitutional should be corrected to invalid or
On page 6, correct the, spacing at the top of the line of the page, it's in 14C2. Scroll up to 14C. That looks good to me.
Yeah.
All right, so that was corrected. On page 7, section 12. Down, right there.
That's,
Yep, that was corrected.
Yep.
That was caught.
Okay, I only have one more question for those who are smarter than I am, obviously. On page 4 of the new ordinance, the red line. Under B, 4 right there, move down 3. I do not understand that. It says that it shall be setback, the greater of the setbacks, or at least 50 feet. What is greater than a setback? If the setback's 20 feet in the zoning district, how do you know how much greater you have to set it back? Am I not understanding?
So if the setback's 20,
Okay.
the greater the setback. So if the setback for that district, zone district is 20, it's got to go back 50 because 50 is greater, right?
Yeah.
But if the setback was 75, then it doesn't revert to the 50. It goes to the 75.
It doesn't govern.
The greater of 1 or 2.
Right. It's the maximum protection by looking at the greater of the two.
That's not how I was reading it.
It's a long thing.
I don't know
It
if
is.
I don't know if
It
it's,
is.
maybe it's worded correctly in your world, but in my world, it doesn't make any sense.
It is.
I mean,
it
I
is very
understand what you're
wordy.
saying now,
Yep.
but I didn't read it that way. I was like, what are we looking at the greater of? It just says.
Where are the less than and equal signs?
All right. We still good? All right. What do we need to do here now?
Probably,
Do we need to make this as an official motion again?
Yeah, that's what
and
we're been
then
asked to do.
add in not just February comments that have not been addressed.
But also the
But
Washington
to-
Township comments. and-
Support the Washington County comment letter, basically. Because I think we supported all of the comments minus comment 5.
Minus 5 and minus 8. 8 was all taken care of.
8, well, there's a
Oh yeah,
couple-
there
were
are
a
ones
couple
that are
addressed.
taken care of, but
Yeah.
the one that we didn't support was number 5. I think
Number 4 is addressed. We did not
yeah,
support.
number 4 is addressed. Number 8's addressed.
Number 5 we didn't support. Yes, you're right.
Yeah, number 4.
Yeah, we recommend 7.
Number 5 was the only one that we didn't support.
Right. I'm just making sure we,
I did the last one. You got somebody else now.
Oh. Well, I'm taking notes. Somebody else.
Above my
Yeah.
finger.
Did number 2 get it? I think that was actually addressed.
Yeah, number 2 is addressed.
Yeah. So we was
Number 2, they were supposed to add it. Wasn't there 2 places at the beginning that they were supposed to add?
Oh, that's right. They didn't address number 2. You're absolutely right. They needed to add it at the beginning.
They did in the
In
section
that
following, but not in
Yeah,
the
in the
Not in the first.
Not the
yeah.
first.
in the
not
first
the first
section they
time.
didn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Clear as mud.
Yes.
Yeah, that's section 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
the transcript will help you a lot more.
Please send that.
Yeah, I will.
I'll do the best I can. I butchered probably butchered some of the last names. They were getting offended when I was asking them. Could you say that again?
You want to do it? I'll
No, you can do it.
I have it. I think I have it. So I'm happy to do it
Cool.
here. So I'll make a motion that we make recommendation to the Board of Supervisors for edits to the current proposed solar ordinance dated May 15th, 2026. We reassert all of our recommendations from the February Planning Commission meeting. And we support the Washington County Planning Commission recommendations from their letter dated May 12th, 2026, items 1, 2, 3, 6, 7. While recognizing that 4 and 8 have already been addressed. We don't.
We don't
Right.
support
I
5.
yeah, I left it off the list because we don't support them.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approved. Any correspondence or announcements, Jack?
Do not.
Any other discussion from the members of the commission?
No, thank you.
None here.
Nope.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion at 9:14 p.m.
Second.
Motion to adjourn with a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approved.